I rise in strong support of our legislation, H.R. 6899, the Comprehensive American Energy Security and Taxpayer Protection Act, and this rule. Why we identify this as a comprehensive bill, because it's very simple. Our country needs a comprehensive legislation that deals with energy. We need everything for our country to both be energy efficient, but also to be able to afford it. All sides of the debate can no longer insist it's my way or the highway and approach to energy. We need all energy resources, both conventional, renewable, and everyone must be willing to sacrifice to reach that common ground. I do not believe our bill goes far enough to address all of our domestic energy resources, especially nuclear energy, but however, every shortcoming, there's positive concessions. Our legislation improves on the provision included in the original H.R. 6 by at least freezing independent oil and gas producers at their current Section 199 manufacturing deduction rate instead of a complete repeal. Our bill modifies provisions from the flawed use of use it or lose it and legislation that was unnecessarily hampered future lease acquisitions. It retains but adds accountability to the tainted royalty in kind that we all read about. It improves the management of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve with an idea offered by my good friend from Texas, Nick Lampson, by allowing a swap for heavy crude, which would immediately lower prices for consumers. Most dramatically, our proposal would help utilize our domestic oil and natural gas resources in the outer continental shelf. Our legislation incorporates most of the offshore drilling provision that I and other energy Democrats first introduced in the Lease Act by directing immediately opening of all areas beyond 100 miles. That's over 300 million acres of outer continental shelf that are automatically open to oil and natural gas leasing. States are given the option to opt in the additional 50 to 100 miles off their coast and estimated another 90 million acres for production. My friends on the other side of the aisle argue this does not open up enough acreage in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, and I agree. I'd like to open up the eastern Gulf of Mexico, but there was agreement made by the Republican Congress in 2006 for Florida, and we're not going to break that agreement on the House side. But let's not forget the fact that during the height of the Republican rule under both Republican president and Congress, Republicans were only able to open 8.3 million acres of leasing in the Gulf of Mexico. And President Bush took almost 7.5 years of his administrations to actually decide to take off the moratorium. So who really wants to drill? 350 million acres open. This bill is hundreds of million more acres that will be directly open, is in contrast to the Senate Gang of 20, or in the Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell's bill, his Gas Price Reduction Act, which has the support of only 44 Republican senators. We opened so many more than even the Republican leadership in the Senate wanted to, more acres for exploration and production. Most importantly, we use the revenues from oil and gas production to transition to a clean energy future. Our bill would create a fund to invest in renewable, clean energy, efficiency, land and water conservation, and LIHEAP. Mr. Speaker, I can go on, and I'll continue as we go to the debate. But this bill is a drilling bill, but it's also a future bill for comprehensive energy production.
The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green.